The introduction of workplace reform placed an enormous amount of stress on our employees under the traditional method where the supervisor took the responsibility for making decisions and they produced product, and that was easy for them. Under lean manufacturing, the responsibility is pushed as far down as possible, back down to the production employees themselves, who now have to take on the responsibility for the product they're producing and the quality of that product. This placed an enormous amount of stress on them, because no longer could they say it's someone else's responsibility. It became their responsibility, and this was for a lot of people very frightening. Of course, the benefit of this is that it empowers them within their own workplace to take on responsibility and initiate change within their own work environment for themselves.
Tran, come and help me, please. Come and help me. Look at what the Nazis have done. Look, they leave all this mess here. Every day it's the same thing. I'm into work and there's mess everywhere. I'm going to bring it up
And every morning in our area, it's the same thing. The night shift leaves the place in a mess. Everything's been moved. The feed baskets are always empty. Ah,
well, let's talk about it.
We've been talking about it for the last 3 months.
it takes us nearly half an hour to get started, Helena. It's a productivity issue.
I have a cousin who works night shift. I'll talk to him.
No, Tran. It's my job to talk to them.
You've already spoken to them twice.
You know, for 20 years now, it's been the same thing. The day shift and the night shift. San Polymos, big war. Έτσι, δεν είναι, Καταρίνα?
Ναι, αλλά βαρέθηκα πια. Μπούχτισα.
Maybe we are the ones to find a solution. What do you think, Tran?
I think we have to understand why they are doing this. Then we can solve the problem.
It's no mystery, Tran. Have you ever worked the night shift?
No?
Have any of you ever worked the night shift?
I have.
And why did you change to day shift?
You get tired, you know? After 3 o'clock in the morning, you work slower. And the boss gets angry. All you want to do is get out of there. I hated it.
The night shift. They work to the last minute. That's why they leave a mess. You know, if you tell management not to expect so much, maybe they can clean up. Huh? There's your answer.
Oh, Yanni. Oniropolis. Η διεύθυνση δεν πρόκειται να...
I think Yanni has made a good point. I bring it up at the next communication meeting. Now that was an effective work team in action. We're all working together to find solutions to our problems. It looks obvious, doesn't it? You just sit down and talk with each other. But it took a year of meetings before we finally worked out how to do it. Our team is one small part of the changes sweeping Australian industry. About 4 years ago, auto parts ran in the traditional way. Workers all did one job in the same place, and we were called hands. And that's just what we were to them. No brains, just hands. When we arrived, we didn't need much English to do our job. That was okay until we started to multi-skill and work in teams.
Previously in the factory, people usually worked in teams where they would have a common language. Now, because we need more flexibility to improve productivity, people have to be able to be moved around, so that we really need everybody to have improved English communication skills.
One of the basic concepts of teams is that the people are able to communicate amongst themselves. We are a multicultural site. Amongst our 400-odd employees, we have in excess of 27 different languages spoken. For us, this was a major problem. There was no common language, such as English, amongst the group.
Yeah, and we're asking people with workplace reform to take ownership of the processes and the product. So you're looking at a cultural change, and in my opinion, that's the hardest thing to get across, and it doesn't happen overnight. It just takes time.
When we started to work in teams, I volunteered for selection for team leader training. We set up a work team to look at basic problems like quality control, productivity, waste, health and safety. The meetings were in work time, so they had to be done properly. What did we know about meetings? Maybe a big lecture from the boss in the cafeteria to 200 people. Some meetings. We didn't know much about meetings at the start.
We could just forget about number 8 altogether. But that means on busy days, like last week when we had to fill out 6 pallets by midday Friday, a lot more pressure is on these other machines. We'd be relying on them a lot more. Now that's okay if there's no orders to fill out quick, but we know what always happens every couple of weeks. They tell us to do 7 loads by Friday. Short notice again as usual, and then we really have to get stuck into it.
He's doing
Now,
his best.
that's okay, I mean I can handle
It's
it.
a waste
But
of
the
time.
question is...
We should be working.
I haven't finished yet. I'm very sorry. Do you follow what I'm saying, Trang?
Yes.
Jeff, could you finish up soon?
I'm just coming to it, okay? Right. Number 8. What I want is to propose a motion. I want to put it to the meeting. Will the going over do the trick, or do we ask for a new one altogether? All those in favour, say aye. I said, all those in favour, say aye.
Sorry, now, look, I don't think we're ready to say aye just now, Jeff.
Jeff,
What does he
thank you
mean
for
by
your
aye?
maintenance report, but I don't think we will vote on it right now.
If you want to put another motion, that's fine by me. Put another motion.
Motion?
You know, a formal proposal, then you vote on it.
Helena, please do something. You're the boss.
Jeff, I've written down all your concerns. Could you please sit down now?
Look, there's 2 ways of doing things, right? Either you're a boss and you tell us what to do, or you have a meeting and you let people vote.
But just doesn't work here. This is not just a meeting. We're trying to work as a team.
How do you get anything done if you don't vote? I've been to meetings. That's how the footy club has meetings. That's how the union has meetings.
It just doesn't work here.
This is a bloody waste of time.
Helena, we don't need meetings. You make the decisions.
Yanni, we've been through this before.
One of the biggest problems with work teams is that people are reluctant to change. They're very frightened of change, in fact. They've been in the same area, in the same machine, some people, for 10, 15 years, never been asked to think, and then suddenly someone says, well, we need you now in a different plant, not only a different machine, and that's very threatening to people.
A lot of people didn't really understand the reason why we'd introduced teams, so we weren't really getting the full benefit from a team approach. We get a lot of people that just agree to things, but they really don't know what they're agreeing to. They get confused on a lot of words. You know, they take the words the wrong way.
Before, not have a team. No more, they just talk. You do your job, I do my job. And just work every day. It doesn't feeling like good working, you know, just coming work.
When I first started here, wasn't any teamwork. We used to be told what to do by boss. We had not much to say and solve any problems. No.
Part of the trouble was we were all too used to having a boss. If the boss makes all the decisions, then who needs to discuss anything? Why to have a team? So I decided to run our meetings in a completely different way, not following someone else's way. The formal approach doesn't work. I decided to be totally informal, not motions to be put or say aye, just simple discussions. Next thing is we've got to figure out why we have so many rejects. This month we've got more rejects.
Maintenance don't fix
You
the
know, we
machines
have to...
properly.
No, it's not the
No,
machine.
why? Standard
You mean,
operating
yeah, it's the
procedure.
machines. Maintenance
We
don't
find
fix
out
that.
from the
bloody
operator
number
of
eight
the
policy.
machine.
Of course it's going to
Okay?
produce garbage, mate.
That's what it is.
Rejects.
No, it's not just one machine. The other system is bad.
What?
It's not the
You
machine.
know that machine
it's
is
the
no
material.
good. Every
The
week it's
dust in the
creating
loading
problems.
material.
You're wrong, mate. It's the loading. The
What?
loading's the problem.
Hey, why you tell me I'm wrong, Jeff? What's this you wrong, mate?
Σκάσε βρε Γιάννη, δεν ακούω τίποτα. Άσε να μιλήσω κάποιος άλλος.
Listen, someone else had a say. We're talking about the standard operating procedure. What do you think, Tran?
Why do we have to do this SOP?
So we can trace exactly where rejects occur in our production process.
Yeah.
Why is it us who's causing the rejects? Huh? So we are to blame. You know, we're already working hard. We're doing our
Stop
overtime.
whinging, mate. We have to check the machines.
Hey, I'm not whinging. I'm not... Listen, all right, we have to check the process. Okay, we are not consulted, but we have to do the production. We have to do the quality control. We have to do the bloody SOP. We have to do this, do that.
Hang on a minute.
I think this is a better meeting than last time. We're all discussing. We're making our point of view. Who knows? Well, maybe we'll get something done.
Τρελαμάρες. Δεν ακούγεται κανείς. Idea vavura di tutulias. Ah, papa, then maresi artis nandisi.
If you ask me, you can sit around talking all bloody day, but you still won't solve any problems.
Tôi hiểu hết tất cả những gì họ nói, nhưng tôi không hiểu tại sao họ phải nói nhiều như vậy.
The trouble with some people is they just don't talk.
Okay, now let's start again. This meeting is for everybody.
Yes.
We discuss and not argue.
We are discussing.
Do you follow Tran?
Yes.
How can we fix number 8 machine?
Machine? The machine is okay.
Oh, he doesn't know.
Hey, listen. How can we know why it's creating
You
rejects?
must speak to everyone. I'll go around the table and discuss.
Yes, it's not a machine.
No one
It's
is
the
right or
dust
wrong.
in the loading
Okay,
material.
Katerina.
Listen, the problem is not in the machine. There is too much dust in the loading materials. That's why we get rejects.
Could be, you know, makes sense.
It doesn't talk much, but it's thinking, eh?
Got more sense than you.
You shut up.
Problems experienced with differing nationality in work teams is communication and getting people involved. Very often when English isn't their native tongue, they tend to hang back and they don't become involved because they feel embarrassed about communication.
The strategies we've got for encouraging people to participate in team meetings are the English in the Workplace training, which gives people the confidence to be able to speak at team meetings, and also skills training, which gives them the knowledge of the processes so that they feel confident that they can make suggestions and have a positive input to team meetings.
Hand these around now. We work with the groups on developing meeting procedures so that people understand that they can interrupt, that they can ask questions, and to make sure that everybody feels they can participate in teams.
It's just really recognising what skills the people in any one group has and giving them an opportunity to show themselves in a positive light.
Over the next few meetings, I learned how to make sure everyone got a say and we talked everything through.
This thing?
It's a quality audit check sheet. We have to understand it and use it.
What, then every team's getting one of these?
Yes,
We already check the machines every week. Why do we have to fill in a form?
because you're doing it in your head, from memory. This way you're doing it from the quality audit sheet. You just tick the 16 points on the list.
We're not engineers, Helena. It doesn't make any sense.
Audit preference check sheet. Booster it label. Check visual. Thread dust cover attach.
Hey, I thought you couldn't speak much English.
I can read good, but not speak very good.
Poniros mas catalameni, eh?
Here, Jeff, you read it and tell us what it means.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, all right. Well, basically, in a nutshell,
Nutshell?
look, it's what we always do when we check the machines.
Exactly.
The dictionary said audit is official examination of accounts.
What?
What?
Official examination of accounts.
Jan, not in this case.
Helena, send it back to the engineers and tell them, please, to make sense.
Yeah, look, we don't need them to tell us how to do our job.
We know the job. So, let's just write it in normal English ourselves.
That's a good idea. Jeff, why don't you do a version and bring it into the next meeting?
You know that's not my sort of thing.
Well, your English will be better than ours.
Yes.
For sure.
Well, look, Jeff, just read it out, and you can explain to us what we don't understand. Yeah.
Hey, come on, Jeff.
Jeff, you can't read?
No. I was never good at reading.
But you're good with the machine, and you know it. Why don't you and Tran get together and work on it? You tell Tran, he will write it down.
Okay.
with his dictionary.
It's not only people from non-English speaking backgrounds that might have a problem with literacy. We also have people who grew up in Australia, English speaking background. I had a class last year, for example, where we included people from English speaking backgrounds, recognising that they were not able to take on more formal training, such as the Engineering Production Certificate, which is a certificate that people here undertake, because their writing skills were not good enough.
The content of the language program is very strongly linked to what's happening with the teams. It's also very strongly linked to the on-the-job training, so that we provide assistance with the technical language, we provide assistance with the understanding of the procedures, things like standard operating procedures. We actually go through the sheets. We make sure that people can read them, and we make sure that they can ask questions about those things when they go out on the shop floor.
An audit done by English in the Workplace from Adult Migrant Education Services in 1990 showed that there was really an incredibly poor rate of literacy amongst the workers in the factory. This was of great concern because we rely on safety signs, amongst other things, to communicate very important messages to people.
Katerina, what did you want to be before you came to Australia?
Ah, you're talking dreams now, eh? Well, I wanted to work in an office. I wanted to be a typewriter.
Secretary?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that?
The war. I couldn't go to school, so I never learned to read and write in Greek. And now you want me to learn English?
But we have to understand the SOP and the audit sheet. If you can't read English, it's a problem now.
Helena, I don't want training, okay?
It's part of the enterprise agreement.
I'm too old. This is for young people like Tran, not me.
It's in our own interest. They get productivity. We get the training.
Huh. The economy gets worse, so now we have enterprise agreement, work teams. And now I have to go to meetings. Quality control, maintenance, productivity.
It's much better now. You get to be involved.
Yeah. And now it's our responsibility, eh? Anyway, what am I going to do if I go to English classes? Write the story of my life?
If you go back a long time, you had craftsmen, you had people involved making product, hand-making parts, and they knew everything about that part. Then you got Henry Ford came up with the idea of mass production, and that tended to de-skill everyone, and they only knew how to do their little part. They weren't told very much. The job was timed, so you just put one nut in, one bolt in. That was all that was carried out. Now, where the times are changing, we're changing around, we're introducing multi-skilling.
Multi-skilling the employees produced a good range of advantages for the employee. It meant that they were able to have a variety of work within their workplace. Their work became more satisfying, more rewarding for them.
They get to work on a couple machines, which is multi-skilling. They get to learn not just one, a few machines, which is very good for them. They don't get bored in their job.
It also gives them the opportunity to learn different things, which also reduces things like RSI injuries and things like that, so they're not just doing the one specified job 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And also gives them that opportunity to go through higher levels of classifications.
We recognise, going back quite a number of years, the lack of opportunity to reward people for their prior knowledge and the skills they've attained over a number of years, because we were hampered by the Metal Industry Award. Now, with the new competency standards in and the assessment type system they're bringing in, that will give us much more scope to recognise people for their past skills.
By now, I was really happy with the team. We learned to work together. Now we were ready to get involved in big issues like enterprise bargaining and training. I want to find out what skills you already have and what skills you want. So I can tell union and I can tell human resources.
Why?
It's a skills audit, so they give us the right training. Have you all thought about what training you want?
I have. I want to do English classes.
Yeti.
Why do you think? I want to learn to read and write.
Πλήση εγκεφάλου σου κάναν και σένα,
Katerina, it's wonderful. Jeff, you started an engineering production certificate last year.
Yeah, I stopped it after 6 months.
Why?
I couldn't read the books.
I need some English classes. Why don't you come too?
Look, I'd feel really stupid with you and the others there. I mean, I got nothing against you, but I was born here.
Jeff, Tran has a point. You need literacy support, and you can finish your certificate.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah, look, all right, I'll give it a go.
Good. Now, Yanni, what about you?
Come on, Yanni, this is your chance to finally learn something, mate. Hey, I was only joking, mate.
It would make you better at your job.
Better? Every day I do my job. And I never go to any classes either. And now you tell me I need training. I already got training. Yeah, as a welder. I was a welder in Greece. An I-grade welder. Yeah, they never use that. I got skills that they're not using.
Did you tell them you're an A-grade welder in Greece?
Yeah, I told them. Years ago I told them.
Tell them now.
No, I'm too old. It's too long ago now. It's all automated now, you know. They've got the submerged arc, the inner shield, the flux cord. I never even used a TIG or a MiG.
It wouldn't take you that long to get the hang of it.
Yanni, I look into how your qualifications can be recognized in Australia. You could get a new award.
You going to learn English, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you look into it for me, huh?
Now that we're finally working together really well, I finally realize what it's all about. It's about cultural diversity. Sure, it's different cultures speaking to each other, working together, but it's not just that. Take our work team. Instead of just doing our job in our little work area like we always did, we are now involved in what we're doing in the whole organization, taking a part and making the changes that this place needs. The organization now gets some good advice and real improvement from the shop floor. And we get some benefits too, like in training, qualifications, recognition of past skills, which all go to improve our jobs.
Jeff, what is quality?
Well, basically, in a nutshell...
What?
In a nutshell, quality means, good quality, means that it's good.
It's good?
Yeah, it means that it's good.
So, this quality audit check sheet means good audit check sheet?
Yeah, check that it's good, you know.
All right. What is the... in a nutshell?
Well, in a nutshell, it just means that you've got to check that it's good, you know.
I mean, what is in a nutshell?
Oh, right. Oh, that's the shell of a nut. You know when you eat a nut? Yeah, nutshell is the shell of a nut. Yeah.
What does it mean?
That means short, you know, when you describe something basically or quickly. Overall, like... yeah, very short.
Short meaning?
Yeah, short meaning, yeah.
Thanks.